Welcome back to James Pigeon, and today I want to be giving you a tour of my nonfiction bookshelf. So I have about 3 bookshelves in my room right now, but this is the nonfiction one. Well, the main nonfiction one. It's not all the nonfiction I own, but it's ones I haven't read, because if I've read it, I move it to the less prominent bookshelf. This is mainly ones I haven't read, but some exceptions. Anyway, I'm going to be just giving a tour of it. So it is organized by sections. I'll show you this first. So on the top, we have American history, which is my main interest. And so this, I'll just start with this. So this is my high school's literary magazine, which I was published in. There's 2 issues of that. And then this is an absurdist zine from a used bookstore in Pittsburgh. So but then American history. It goes chronologically. So we have Native American stuff, colonial stuff, Revolutionary War stuff, 19th century, 20th century. I think, yeah. So I'll just show. So first we have American Indian Myths and Legends by Richard Erdoes and Alfonso Ortiz, and this is basically just a reference book that gives different Native American folk tales and such. Then we have Indigenous Continent by Pekka Hamalainen, and I have read a lot of this, not all of it, but basically it's a history book by this Finnish author who is nonetheless very interested in American history. That's his specialty. I guess it's like an American being very interested in European history, but you don't usually see it, I'm saying. But it's good. It's basically just about the European conquest of North America and the underrated role that Native Americans played. I won't take that. I don't think I'll take him out anymore. It's getting annoying. Then we have The Mayflower, and this is more just Mayflower by Nathaniel Philbrick, and this is just a book about the Mayflower. History of the Cobb family, but in colonial, because the Cobb family is a very prominent American family that got to America in the early 1600s into Massachusetts. This is I am a doubly maternal, like, mother-grandmother member of the Cobb family, technically. I don't have the name because it's double maternal, but it's technically family history, even though there's probably millions of people at this point that are descended. Now into the Revolutionary, we have Revolutionary Spies. This is basically by McNeice. This is basically a book about spies in the Revolutionary War. And then 1776 by David McCullough. This basically is just a book about everything that was happening in the world in 1776, but it's focused, or not everything in the world, but it's focused on the year 1776, on England and America. Then the Mexican War, 1846 to 1848, by K. Jack Bauer. This is a book from the 70s that talks about the Mexican-American War in a lot of detail, and it kind of frames it as like the Vietnam War, which was contemporary. And this is actually one of the ones I got myself. I picked it out and bought it myself instead of, like, finding it in a basement or something. All right, and then Black Reconstruction in America, 1860 to 1880 by W.E.B. Du Bois, I don't know. And this is a very thick book that he wrote in the 30s, I believe, about Reconstruction, which was, he was writing about stuff that happened like 50 years ago, so it'd be like me writing a book about the 70s. And he did live through it. He was born in 1868, if I remember correctly. So he lived through some of it. And I do have an African American history course next semester, so maybe I should read that. Then we have Let Me Be Free. This is a book about the Nez Perce thing. So I say this going into 19th century. The Nez Perce, the Native Americans. This is Bertrand Russell's America, 1945-1970. It's the second one. I believe the first one is like 1900-1945 or something. It's basically just a collection of documents about Bertrand Russell, his opinion on America, I think. Staying Alive. This is a book about the 1970s, specifically the working class. And then, this is not completely chronological. I could fix it. This is Tractor Wars. It's a book from 2022 that is about the different brands of tractors from 1908 to 1928 and how they competed for dominance in the market. It's a very niche book. Then we have 2 New York books of photography books. We have Onondaga County Sheriff's Office by John Anderson and The Adirondacks, 1931 to 1990 by Donald Williams. These are both from the, what is it called? Images of America book series, which I think it's like, they have a bunch of different authors that basically compile pictures of so there's like a lot of them that get pretty regionally specific. Then we have Portsmouth Built, Submarines with the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. I picked this up for about $2 at a vintage book sale. And the going rate for it is a lot more than that, although I don't think anyone really wants it, but if you did want one, it'd be quite a bit more expensive. But this is basically just about the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Maine and how they built submarines. It's from the 80s. Then we have Cars of the early 20s. That's self-explanatory. Pick this up from the same sale for about $2. Then we have the National Archives. They published a book of political cartoons called Draw, Political Cartoons from Left to Right. And this is, a book of political cartoons. I've read this one in its entirety. So some of them I have read. Yeah, so I've read that one. Personally, I've always been a fan of cartoons and political cartoons in general. Then we have Live and Be Well. And this is basically a book about Yiddish, Jewish culture in America from basically the first half of the 20th century. This is an old geography textbook from the 60s, Geography of New York State. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it is still accurate in everything up to the 60s, pretty much. So then we have Beers of North America. This is a book about the history of all the different beer brands, and then Canada, America, and Mexico. Then we have La Musique des Origines à nos jours. This is a very thick French book from the 40s. It's in French. I can kind of read French. I'm working on it. Can't speak it pretty much at all, but I'm decent at reading it. Kind of like Latin. It basically details the history of music completely up to, I guess, the 40s. Then we have I am missing a book. My high school yearbook is here for sentimentality's sake, but it would instantly dox me because it has the name of my high school on the spine, so I removed it. Then we have the religious section. So, yeah, American history ends about here. And then we have the religious section. So I have Commentary on the Torah by Friedman. This is some rabbi, I think, commentating on the Torah. This is the Oxford Bible. This is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. And this is Quaker Writings, which is an anthology of different writings from the Quakers, the Religious Society of Friends. Then we have the 3-book series by Edward Brooke Hitchings of The Phantom Atlas, The Madman's Library, and The Madman's Gallery, which is basically talking about obscure maps, obscure books, and obscure art. And then, moving down here, this is also American history, but I have its own section. This is biography. So we have John Adams, Ulysses S. Grant, Lyndon B. Johnson. Here's my catch-all. It has keys and stuff. Gum. And then Hamilton, Douglas MacArthur, and Harry Truman. Down here is periodicals. I have Automobile Magazine, Wired, some weird stuff like Hawaiian Airlines Flight Magazine, University of Delaware Alumni Magazine. I mean, weird, some odd stuff I've come across. American Art Review, and then I have 4 issues of Harper's, including July's, because I am a regular Harper's reader. The other stuff is more for collection's sake. All right, then we have these 2 sections. So this is more just general stuff, including world history and reference. So here we have Wheelock's Latin. It's a 7th edition. It's a Latin textbook. I've got through some of it, but I could continue. Dictionary of Theories is basically a book that has a bunch of scientific theories, like a lot of scientific theory. This is an interesting one, so I'll show. Like, it's a dictionary, but of theories, like principle of indifference, hypothesis of depression in dopamine. Oh, in dopamine hypothesis of depression. So it's pretty cool. History of the Marianas. This is a book about the Mariana Islands, but it's written by, I think, a Catholic missionary from Spain from the, correct me if I'm wrong, 1700s. So it's not a academic modern history book. It's a history from the side. It's a history book from back then, and it's mainly focused on Catholic missionary work. Then we have Armenian Golgotha. This is a memoir of the Armenian genocide by Grigoris Balakian. And I also have, I am a history major, so I also have a history of Armenian genocide class next semester, so I should probably read this in addition to the Reconstruction book. Then the very polarizing history book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, which I have read, I think most of. I never finished it. I'm kind of bad about finishing books, but I think it's not as bad as people say. But then the Tiwi of North Australia. This is an anthropology book this one's printed in 1966. It was written in 1960. This one is heavily underlined. It's used. I got it for $1 at a bookstore. And it's basically just an anthropological study of the Tiwi people. Then we have the autobiography of Benvenuto Cellini, who is, I think, a sculptor. And then New Guinea, Big Man Island. This is from the Royal Ontario Museum. It's from 1970, I believe, and it just talks about New Guinea anthropologically. Then finally, I have Medieval Society and Culture. And this should be next to a short history of medieval philosophy, probably. But I have Medieval Society and Culture, which, it's on the cover. History of the Jews on the cover. Atlantic Canada. This is a travel guide to Atlantic Canada. I don't know why I have this. A really nice journal I have that I write in. Discipline and Punish by Foucault. Maybe I put it next to it because these are both philosophy. Anyway. Outwitting History. This is a book about historiography itself. I think it was about Yiddish books, like saving them. I'm not sure. Who We Are and How We Got Here is a book about, like, the DNA of humanity. And then we have 2 more issues of a literary magazine from a local school. And that's basically it.